things strike my interest, and then certain things don't.
So that's basically what Michael talking about. Yeah, it's weird, dude, because playing, like, football and sports and then you, like, stop, it's like, I don't even know what I like doing, bro.
Exactly. So, like, and I was just talking to my dad about that today. It's like, my nephew went through the same thing, but in a worse way, he got shot. And he was he was a 3-athlete star, like, and he got shot in his leg and could never play again. And now, like, almost 10 years later, he's like mentally
he's
fucked
still
up.
fucked, right?
Like,
yeah.
Even worse now, like, and it's like putting all your eggs in one basket. And that's definitely what I did.
Yeah.
But I'll say, at least I had a little bit of help, but like mentally strong enough to kind of break out of that depression that came along with, fuck, now what do I know. What's next?
I'm finally feeling like I'm completely out of that.
Yeah, like,
because I didn't even go to college and play sports, so
yeah.
I kind of feel like I just quit on it way too early.
Yeah, so that's kind of what it was, and it's like, and I kind of was not forced into quitting, but okay, 2 hip injuries. Like, all right, do you want to walk or do you want to play football? Type
What do
shit.
you want to? Yeah, you want a wheelchair, bro?
Yeah, you can play all you want, but you might end up in a wheelchair in 10 years. But it's you got to come to realization that is it really worth it? Yeah, so that's kind of where it all started. Is like, all right, now, like, done with football, and that kind of drove passion for everything, like fucking getting good grades in school, even going to school. Period. Like,
yeah.
Showing up, not getting in trouble. Like, football drove all those passions.
Yeah.
Like, just wanting the drive to play football, to be good at football.
It made like almost all my confidence. It was all my confidence.
Yeah, so that made me go to the gym, take care of my body. That made me eat right. That made me wake up at a good hour every day, you know? So, like, you take that simple motivation away, and now it's like, all right, I'm a weed smoker. Like,
just chilling.
All right, I'm just chilling. Like, all right, yeah, I go to work, like, because I need money, but if I didn't need that, I probably wouldn't even be there,
Exactly.
You know? Exactly. So it's like, where do you find that same motivation that football gave me, you know, in a different light to, like, move forward? And now I haven't found it yet, but I'm at least out of the realm of,
where you
like,
don't even want to try.
Yeah. So it's like, football's done. Like, yeah, I can watch it now. Before, like, 2 or 3 years, I couldn't watch football at all. Like, I couldn't do anything with it. So now it's just kind of, like I keep saying, it's finding that motivation that gives the same power that football gave me, you know?
Yeah. So we kind of, I guess, jumped in. We were
I know, right?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
So yeah, this is the 5th episode of the 100 podcast, and if you're looking for it, it's 100 podcast. Pretty easy to find. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, everything. And if you're listening to it now, you found it, obviously. But yeah, I got my friend Kenyon Williams, and I played football with him in high school, and I think I even went to middle school with you in John Glenn for a year. But yeah, so we kind of jumped into it, talking about football and kind of trying to figure out life right now. That's basically why I'm doing the podcast. I'm figuring it out, bro. I don't even know what I'm doing, so.
But that's where everything
starts. Yeah, exactly.
That's where it all starts.
So, I guess we were already in football. So, like, how was football, dude? Like, how was the jump from high school to college? What was the biggest difference when you went from high school to college?
The biggest difference probably for me was just the competition level and, like, that shock of being, like, a star athlete, at least on the high school level. Yeah. And then going that first day of, like, pads and getting hit for the first time. It's like, dude. All right, this is a different beast, you know? And it's like how I'm sure every person who's probably played any college sport can relate. It's like, okay, yeah, you were the best in your college. I mean, in your high school or in your little section or your town, but everybody has that same story. Everybody was in the newspaper. Everybody in that college was the small town hero, you know? Yeah. So it kind of takes your luster away and humbles you. So that was like probably the biggest transition for me. Was like, all right, you got to be humble now because you're not the best anymore, you know? So that was a huge transition, probably the biggest. And also just like a schedule, dude. It's like a job. It became a job more than playing football for fun.
What was the hour difference? Like, you put in a week, like, let's say high school, you put in, I don't know, maybe like, 2 hours a day, maybe? Yeah. That's probably what we're putting in.
So you practice for 2 hours, you maybe work out. Maybe 3 hours max as a high school athlete. Yeah. But a college athlete, and I'll go even like a D1 college athlete, you start in the morning. You wake up. For me, it was even worse being in the military at Army. But you start 5:30 in the morning. You get up if you want to eat breakfast. You got to eat breakfast at 5:30. You got film from 6 to 7, and after that you go off to class from 7 to 2. After that, you have film again. You work out. You go to practice. So by the time your day's over, it's 6 or 7 o'clock. Then you got study hall, 6 to 8.
Damn, dude.
And then now you got 8 o'clock. What can you really do? Because you got to get up and do it again the next day. So
just go to bed.
Yeah, it's definitely a job. Like in all aspects of the word, a job.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. And the military. What's the difference between the military and playing football compared to like a normal D1 or a normal like college?
I think it's just the freedom. Like you can't leave on the weekends. You have to get permission to leave campus in the first place. And it's like you're not drinking like everybody else. You're not partying like it takes away less of the distraction, you know, and it makes it easier to stay on track. But at the same time, it makes it harder to even like say, oh, this is fun, like. Yeah, because it's not
just
fun
a
anymore.
Straight job. You don't even have those like
you don't have the same like
break times.
The break times that like any other school would have, like where kids are in their dorms partying and stuff. Like, you know, we didn't have that. It's like go to class, go to sleep, get up and do it again. You know, so that was probably the hardest part for me to get with, because in high school I wasn't really super disciplined with that stuff. I was to my own extent, but
I wasn't, dude. I could have been way better. That's the one thing I guess I could change. I could have changed. And I, you know, like grades was cool. Even like sports, like I wasn't that bad. I ended up being all league or whatever, but still it was like all league.
What could you have
given
been?
half-ass?
What could you have been?
Smoking every day,
giving some more effort.
Yeah, a little bit of a dumbass. So. I guess it's what you do in high school. You kind of
it's what you put in is what you get out.
Yeah,
you know? And that applies to life.
What would you pass along to somebody that's in high school right now?
Just take it serious and really enjoy it. First off, enjoy the time, enjoy what you're doing, because it's not always gonna be there.
Yeah,
you graduate. Not everybody goes to college. At least not even to play sports. But not everybody goes to college in general. Maybe you can't afford it. Maybe you got other responsibilities. You know, so enjoy that being a kid, like everybody, I'm sure everybody's always heard it, like
exactly
being a kid is so much fun, and then
you don't even believe it either, and then you get out and you're like, oh,
and we're all so rushed to be grown-ups and like be on your own, be doing your own thing, but fuck, it's not that fun, I'll tell you. No. It's really not.
It's not really fun when you have to make money.
Exactly. You know,
you gotta work 5 days a week, you gotta make this paycheck.
So now those bills come in. Before it's just like, all right, let's go have fun. It's like things were fun, you know. Now it's kind of, you got responsibilities, I'll say. I guess that's the only way to put it in real words. Like, you got real responsibilities as an adult versus that high school kid. Granted, some people probably do have them in high school too. But yeah, that's probably the biggest difference.
We were going into your like hip injuries. How'd those happen? What and I know was that like your biggest obstacle when you were playing football, or was that just
I'll definitely say it, because it became less about the injury, more mental, like a mental obstacle, you know?
Okay.
Like, it really set me back mentally, but can't really tell you how it happened. It was more of just a freak accident. Made a wrong bad cut and fell on the ground, and next thing you know, I'm in the hospital.
Damn, man.
Dislocated, fractured hip. And that's like, football drove me so much. It even drove my recovery, you know, to like bring me back real fast. I didn't want surgery because I wanted to go to college. Like, probably things that somebody else would have fixed right away, I didn't fix, because football was driving my motivation to keep going, you know, and it probably kind of clouded my judgment as well, you know. So I can say football was a good thing, and also probably just as bad in the same sense for me.
Yeah, it definitely strengthens you. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It definitely strengthens you. It hardens you.
Yeah, at that age too, because where else can you get those lessons outside of your parents? And
it's got to be a sport somehow. It's got to be football, wrestling, something.
Yeah, you got to be in some type of sport that gives you that like tangible, like hard work brings you this. Right? Yeah,
and then when you see it
exactly, you get that tangible evidence from doing it. If you work out 5 days a week, you're gonna have a 6-pack. If you sit on the couch and fucking drink beer all day, you're gonna have a gut.
You're probably not gonna play much either.
Exactly. Yeah. So you see the tangible evidence from your work and your effort right off the bat with anything, like, and especially in sports at that age, because I don't see where else you could get that those type of lessons at that age.
I think sports are really important.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely try to shy my kids away from playing football.
I got 2 boys right now, and I don't want to play football.
Like, if you like it and you want to play it, so be it. It's your life. But I would definitely say, like, hey, basketball's cool. Let's play baseball. You know, baseball's the check.
And that's my oldest TJ. His favorite sport's basketball right now. So I'm trying to get him basketball, soccer, get him in those international sports where they can play everywhere, not just stuck here.
And it's not just playing everywhere. You can continue. Usually basketball, you can continue playing basketball if you don't later in life. Rec leagues, baseball, same thing. Or at least slow pitch, you know, softball, things like that. Like, I feel like football is the only sport that kind of stops at a certain age, no matter what. Yeah. Like, even if you make it to the NFL at a certain age, you can't physically play football
even
anymore.
If you want to, no matter how bad.
Yeah,
you want
like
to,
golf,
matter.
you can play golf through your whole life. You can technically play basketball through your whole life. You know, those sports kind of stick with you, and you're able to continue.
Well, you see some of those 3-point artists, they can play forever.
Yeah, and it's like you change your game, and your career can continue. Baseball, basketball, soccer, you tweak your game to your body and the way you can move, and your game continues. But football, cut off. Like,
yeah, exactly.
There's a certain age where you definitely can't really play anymore, for sure, unless you're gonna fucking kill yourself.
What's your motivations now?
Great question. That's why
we're here.
That's really what we're trying to figure out. And I'll say my motivation is just, still hard work, like whatever. Try it, and I gotta continue to think about it a little bit more, because now in real life, it's harder to see that tangible evidence of your hard work.
Yeah,
you know? Like, it doesn't come as quick. Time definitely takes longer in real life, you know. So, like, I say really just kind of, for me right now, helping my family, like, making sure they're stable. My parents, my grandmother, you know, because they're getting up in age, you know, things are starting to get harder for them. So, I guess that's where I could start. But outside of that, it's kind of building up myself, like getting my own things, my own
just keep bettering yourself.
Yeah, just bettering myself in any way possible. Gaining knowledge in any aspect, you know, and really building those relationships and connections, because who knows where you'll be in 10 years? Maybe this podcast will be fucking nationally syndicated or something like that.
Man, I don't know, and that's kind of where I'm at. I've already put, I don't know, dude. I'd probably say like 15, 20 hours into this podcast. I haven't even released it yet.
Yeah,
I haven't even released it. It's just still.
It's in the infant stages and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing things.
You're going to be one of my first. I'm going to have like 10 episodes, and then I'm going to have all you guys mention it or whatever at the same time, and I'm going to have them all drop at the same time, and that'll be the way I kind of release the podcast and try to do like a big splash, and see what happens with that. So I'm over here doing all these episodes. I haven't even released one yet. Like, they're technically on my Anchor, but...
yeah, but that's where
part
it
of the
comes.
grind.
It's the grind. It's you got to figure it out. Like, everything starts somewhere, and it's kind of figuring out. Again, for me, everything goes back to football and how football, the motivation and the drive football gave me. Where can I find that in my adult life?
Yeah, you know? Exactly. Where can I get that excitement, that little rush?
Excitement's the rush is the word, like, to keep you motivated to do things. You know, like. I'll say it's hard. It's hard to stay motivated.
Snowboarding, man, that's one thing that kind of gives me a little rush. Is that, but it's only a couple months out of the year. So,
so it's like, where can I find it? And that's where I always go back to, what will give you the drive that football gave you. And, like, I feel like for me, and this podcast is probably going to show it a little bit more, that, like, that was where all my motivation and all my power came from. Was like my drive to be good and play football. So.
And that was the only thing I had too, was sports, and really, my parents are correctional officers, so I kind of was like, criminal justice was like my route, and I kind of realized along the way that
really wasn't for you.
I didn't want to do that,
And so. that's where I'm at. It's just keep trying different things, dude. Go to college. I was into kinesiology. I thought I wanted to be a physical therapist. Got a little bit into the realm, and I still enjoy it. Like, I like it, but I'm not willing to put in that work, work that it takes to be successful in that career path. You know, I don't want to go to school for 10 years. I don't want to come out with $100,000 worth of debt.
What's the point of that?
Yeah, so I just I want to do something that kind of breaks the mold of what we have in our generation of, like, you got to go to school, you got to get a college degree, and I don't think that's necessarily
It's kind of changing
the way.
now.
Yeah. It's starting. People are starting to see that. I mean, college is. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer and say like college is a ripoff, but for some people it is.
I went to community college. I thought it was more worth it just to get a little
I say community.
Get a little more. A little higher education, and then kind of decide what you want to do. And I was happy I did that instead of a university. But were you walking or did you get a scholarship?
It was kind of a weird situation there. Like the staff that recruited me, like literally,
they all got out.
They all got fired right after I got recruited. So luckily the new staff came in, and so I got kind of a preferred walk-on deal.
Oh, nice.
They sent me to what would be like their JV team. So you went to a whole different school. It's called the prep school. So back on the East Coast, they have these things called prep schools, and that's where a lot of players get better at. Like, say you were like a pretty good player, but you didn't have the size or the attributes, and like somebody like Penn State wanted to recruit you, but you just weren't quite there for you, but they didn't want to let you go somewhere else. So they send you to this prep school, which is basically like their farm system to like build you up. And it's not big around here because we have community colleges, which is the same thing here.
Oh, okay.
So they have less of the community college system because California, we're kind of spoiled with that. Like, we have community colleges everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have that same those same opportunities on the East Coast. So they kind of replaced that with prep schools, like basically an extra year of high school to get you ready academically, physically, and all that to get you ready.
Where'd you live at when you were in the prep school?
Still on the campus. I was still on the campus. I was still at the school. Like, we were still a part of the team, but we literally had our own team, our own schedule. We played junior colleges and things like
really?
That. So, yeah,
it's like, crazy.
It was kind of a better situation because you didn't get to sit, like, a lot of people, you go to a D1 school and you're going to sit on the bench for 2 or 3 years before you even see the field.
You're going to be like a junior and a senior barely playing.
Unless you're the shit off rip. But for us over there, we had our own schedule. We learned all the plays. So we run the same playbook. You run all the plays, but you get to play. You actually get to play. And you don't become stagnant. So I thought that was pretty cool. But so I've gone to a community college, and I still go to college. It's just, for me, like, I recommend it to anybody. If you can go to college and come out debt free, in whichever way it can, whether it be your parents paying for it, grants, scholarships, things like that. If you can come out with minimal to no debt, then hell yeah, go to college.
Man.
But like, I'm just not willing to waste money when I'm not 100% sure what I want to do. You know, like when I get that inkling of like, yeah, I want to be this, I want to do this, then hell yeah, I'll go to college and spend that money. But until then,
hit the ground running.
But until then, it's a waste of time if you don't know what you're doing, just taking classes, trying things. So I kind of stay on like you said, stay on the community college level. I just try different things, like take automotive courses. I like cars.
Just build your wisdom.
Yeah. So basically, build your knowledge, like continue to grow my knowledge in different aspects, and just become sort of a jack of all trades, you know. So I have a little bit of knowledge here where I can, if that's what I like, I can expand on it. But if not, I know a little bit about it, and then move on to something else if that's not what's scratching the itch.
And like your car, like you said, even like you like cars, like it'll just help you just working on your cars.
Exactly.
In general,
so it doesn't hurt, and that's always, you know, and that could turn into something. Maybe I want to build a business out of it. Maybe I want to be a mobile mechanic, something, you know. And that's what I'm all about, is just gaining knowledge. Do you have
anything you're going towards right now? Do you have anything you're kind of interested in that you're
I'll say it really stops at cars. Like I'm all about cars right now. I'm just learning how to work on them, how to build them, the science behind building cars and things like that. But we'll see how long that
how long that lasts.
That keeps my interest, you know.
I'm kind of the same way. Once something gets my interest, I start doing it, and then I get over it real quick.
Yeah, and I have a bad habit of like kind of mastering a basic skill and like, all right, I got it now. Like I want to learn something new, you know? And that's kind of the hardest part about college, is like you have to be dedicated to like not necessarily one skill, but like one field, I guess. As you get further and further in college, you become more and more specialized, and it's like I want to be well rounded, kind of.
Yeah, do a couple different things. Always do something different.
Because
not stuck on the same.
Yeah, that helps a lot. So it's just cars is just about it.
How big do you feel like the military was for you? Do you think it's something good for you?
The military was huge.
Yeah.
Huge part of who I am now. Like it really molded me in a great way. And I recommend it to anybody who kind of doesn't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity. But at the same on the same coin, it has a flip side. It's like to me, it's kind of like there's a lot of brainwashing that goes on in the military that you have to kind of fall in line. And my biggest issue that I had with the military is the blind obedience that you have to have in the military. And I feel like I was a little bit too smart to just
too much your own guy to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a little bit, because I don't want to downplay anybody who's in the military, because it's a great place. But I just, too much of my own person and wanting to do my own things to, like, blindly follow somebody. Say I'm your subordinate, you're my, like, commanding officer. If you tell me to wipe your ass, and I'm going overboard, but if you tell me to wipe your ass, I gotta wipe your ass. I can't even ask why. Like, you know, so, and that's really what it was for me. And I got in a lot of trouble because of that hard-headedness. And when I left, my commanding officer was like, man, you should really stick it out, because you'd be great. You would be great at this, but you'd be
a leader once you get there to that leading.
But you have to get there, and I wasn't willing to eat the shit.
Nah, I don't think that's why I never joined it. Yeah, it's
just I hate it, because you respect a rank before you respect a person. So if you're a higher rank than me, you can say, like, yeah, do this, do that, and there's no absolute reason why you say that, or even go to people who are overseas and, like, on a deployment or something. Like, your leader might not necessarily be qualified to be a leader, but they know the right people. You got the rank. You've been in long enough to get where you are,
and they can just
you can put my life in danger easily by not knowing what you're talking about. Yeah. But I still have to listen to you, because it's just the way the military is structured and the way it works. And I couldn't fall in line with that, and that was my main reason for wanting to leave. But as I grow old, like as I'm getting older, because this is at 18 years old, you know, you're not mature enough to understand.
How long were you in the military?
Just a year. I hurt my hip again. So, I hurt my hip twice, which is kind of my escape route, which I used to get out. But yeah, it was just at 18 years old, I wasn't necessarily willing to blindly follow people, and I hated the concept of, like I said, blind obedience. I don't want to follow you if you're not qualified for me to follow you.
Exactly.
I need respect. You gotta earn respect to give respect. You know, like it doesn't.
How am I just gonna follow you? It just doesn't. That's how I still feel at 24, dude. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm trying to get out of my security job as soon as possible, because I don't agree with just following people like
for no reason. If you give me a great reason, hey, I'm asking you to do this because this and this reason, then of course cool. I have no problem following somebody, because you have to be a follower to be a good leader at the end of the day. But it just blindly, I can't. I just can't bring myself to.
There's no reason for it. You don't see any reason. Just at some points, just to fuck with you, it doesn't make any sense.
And where I was, I kind of got a little bit more of it, because I was at West Point, like the most prestigious military academy on earth. So
where is West Point?
West Point's in New York. West Point, New York is where it's at, but it's like presidents went to school there, dude. I shook hands with some of the most powerful people in the nation at the time, like the Secretary of Defense for the nation, like, who stands right next to the president, you know. So I was around people who were kind of even more privileged than the regular military, you know. So like kids of generals, like, so people who've been built for this their whole life, been groomed to do this thing their whole life.
You're gonna be in the military no matter what.
Yeah, and it's like this has been their dream. Like, they're following great grandfather's footsteps. Like, every person in their family has been in the military. So I say maybe if I would have went to the regular enlisted military, I wouldn't have felt the same. I kind of would have been able to bite the bullet and stay in. But where I was, it's just I don't think I was ready mentally for where I was. You know? Like, one person in my family has been in the military. Like, that's not a big thing. No one really cares about the military, you know.
So you're number 2? That was it? Or
3. So I was 3. I have a cousin that was in the Air Force, and then my great grandfather was in the Army during World War II. But outside of that, it's like
it's not like some big tradition.
No, it was nothing at all. So I didn't know anything about it coming in, you know. So, and that again goes back to doing your research before you make a decision, you know. And I didn't do that at all. I seen what I wanted to see when I went there. Like, oh, I'm going to a D1 school to play football. Oh, they play on TV. Oh, they have this huge Nike contract. Like, the shit that a kid's gonna see, like, and that's gonna attract the exciting stuff. All the exciting stuff, but I didn't take into consideration the reason that you're really there. At the end of the day, I didn't take that into consideration. And I kind of
at the end of the day, you're in there to be in the military.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly, because you're not there to go play in the NFL. You're not there to be a star athlete. The military school comes first, the military comes second. Sports are on the back burner, you know.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
So that's none of that. I didn't take all that into consideration before making that decision, you know. But like I said, at the end of the day, it was a great opportunity. It really changed my perception of the way I do things. Like, I don't even know how to put it in words, but it just really kind of changed my mindset and kind of definitely matured me way beyond my years, because at 18 years old, I definitely wasn't mature. I mean, who really is?
Nobody really, let's be honest.
Yeah, so it kind of aged me real fast. And after getting out, you kind of see, and then I'm back in regular life, and I'm still taking the lessons that I learned from there and applying them to the way I do things now. So I don't regret it at all, but I don't regret my decision to leave.
Yeah, you know? and that was from your hip. You got hurt, and then it was like a medical.
So I got a medical discharge. I used that to escape, and I still have the opportunity to go back if I want to. And like even now, I'm thinking about it. It's always a
possibility
in the back of my head. Yeah. Like I still have the opportunity to go back. You know?
So when you signed, or whenever you went over there, did you like go straight into like basic training, or?
We had a like a shortened version of basic training because it was going into football camp as well. So they shortened from what it would be like if I went today to enlisted ranks, it would be a 2-month basic training, but we only did 3 weeks. So they cram as much as they can in 3 weeks.
Half the time.
Yeah, into 3 weeks, and then you go off and start new camp for football, you know. So it was just a small taste of what the military actually is. So I say anybody watching this, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because
you didn't get the full experience.
I didn't get the full experience, you know.
What was some of the things you did in basic training? Just for somebody that's thinking about it, obviously you didn't get the full 2 months, but
so I mean, you learn how to shoot a weapon, you know, and they kind of groom you like how I would call it a gun before. It's not a gun. It's a weapon. You know?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so small things like that. You learn how to shoot a weapon. You learn how to clean a weapon. You learn how to use a compass. Because, I mean, in today's day and age,
nobody knows that.
I hadn't even picked up a compass in my life. Yeah. So you learn how to navigate, like read a map, like all kinds of skills that if apocalypse ever came, I would be
they still would be
set,
good
ready
to
go.
know.
Yeah. So I mean, I learned quite a bit, but what else?
Shoot. Why is a gun not a gun? Why is it a weapon?
I can't even remember why, but that was oh man. But it was like always a correction, like no, that's a weapon. Like, and I don't know why that I remembered that. But like small things like that, and that's where I say the brainwashing comes in. Is like they change the way you think.
Just keep telling you
everything.
Over and over and over and over again.
And you learn like that you have this book and you read these pages over and over and over, and you have to memorize everything.
Oh man!
Like the soldier's creed and different things like that. All these different sayings and insignias, and you learn all the ranks. And so. Yeah, they just cram basically the history and everything into that 3 weeks of like the military and why you're there, and you know they kind of try to inspire that like, oh, you're doing this for your country, and like
that pride that
they try to bring that pride of like the country pride, the USA, like red, white, and blue. We're saving the world.
We're the good guys.
Yeah, and that was another thing that kind of shied me away, because we're really not the good guys, you know. If you look at
we're in a war, we're fucking killing people too.
And why are we there? Like, what are the real reasons why we're there? Like, terrorism has been in Afghanistan for who knows how long, but we've only been there for 20 years or less, you know. It's like, why are we still there? Like, there's not a huge terrorist problem going on here. Why are we in other countries? Like, there's other reasons behind the things, and you start to learn that after what they try to tell you the reason you're there for, and all you do is simply sit and watch the news, and go and watch someone else's news. Go look at the news from a different country and see how they talk about our military and
viewed completely different.
The view is completely different, and that's what really is like, whoa, like what are you doing here? And that goes back to the blind obedience. If you tell me to kill this person, what did they do? Like, why am I killing them? You know, and it's like I'm just not willing to kill somebody on somebody else's terms because
it could be a dad, a son.
Exactly, and sometimes we might be in a country or something for completely different reasons, for business reasons. We're trying to exactly.
That was a
big deal, huge deal in Afghanistan. That's probably the reason why we got there in the first place. You know, and that's where we're protecting business interests in the name of freedom and country. That's not really why we're there. So it was more of a kind of like my personal philosophy just doesn't fall in line with the military completely, in the whole picture. Because there's more going on than just, we're saving the country or we're protecting people. Because there's a lot more to what we're doing.
It's not this easy countries. Solution, this easy problem.
Exactly. There's a lot more going on than the soldiers know about. There's people behind the scenes really running the picture, and I'm not willing to give my time and my effort to a cause that I'm not exactly sure what's happening behind the scenes.
What the real reasons are.
Exactly.
So, I don't know, from our I don't know. Now the U.S. kind of the way it is, I guess, with the Trump presidency, it's kind of like split and everything. Mm-hmm. What would you say? What would your advice be for the country to kind of like come together? And I know we don't really know much. We're kind of young that's why I'm asking you, because we don't know, and I feel like we would be the perfect people to ask. Not these old people who don't really
who've already set in their ways.
Exactly, aren't willing to change or adjust.
Exactly, and that's where it starts with at the youngest age, dude. Racism, prejudice, all that stuff is groomed in you at a young age. Like, if you weren't raised a racist, it's kind of hard to say. Maybe there's some out there, but it's kind of hard to say somebody converts to being racist at 25, 26 years old. I don't really see that being a thing, So I feel like it really starts young, and and I don't think it's that hard. It's a real easy concept, just like we're doing this now.
If you don't even I feel like if you don't even make race anything from a young age, nobody even thinks anything about it.
You don't think anything. You don't think anything of it. I'm black. You're white, and
it's never been
friends,
anything.
and it's never been a thing. Like I walk in your house, say hi to your parents, no problem. They don't open up with bug-eyed eyes or something like that. And I think that's where it starts. It starts in the household. It really starts in the household.
You're right. Yeah.
And if you're groomed to hate somebody, you're gonna. And you ask anybody whoever claims to be racist or to not like another type of people, and you ask them why, they cannot give you a legitimate reason.
Yeah.
They can't give you a legitimate reason why you dislike that person, or like a scientific based reason. Like, we're
and there's been I don't know how many stories about people that were racist, and then they meet somebody of another race, black, white, whatever, and they ended up being friends with them, and then they're like, why was I racist to begin with? You don't even know why.
If you can't give a legitimate reason, if you can tell me, when I was this such and such age, a black person killed my mom, now I hate black people. Okay, fuck it. You have
some
a reason.
Sort of
you have
reason.
some type of reason,
or
something like that. But I just think, it's kind of hard. It takes a lot of effort to hate somebody or to even have hate in general in your heart,
And I don't know. I think the country as a whole, I don't even think it's that split. I think it's social media. But I think the world, if we're like going out today or whatever, I don't think there's people that are that crazy.
There's not much of that going on anymore. And I think the further we move on, like, our kids are going to be even less like afflicted by this problem.
Yeah.
And so the next generation after them and the next generation after them, because like the world is kind of intertwining, I won't say in maybe our lifetime, but in the next lifetime, there won't be a difference between black, white, brown,
there might not be a difference in countries. It might be one universal.
One big thing, and I think just as we progress, we're definitely progressing. If you go back 100 years and look at where we're at as a country in general, we're way past that.
Yeah.
And it just started its progression, and it's always gonna take time for that.
I think the biggest issue for our kids is gonna be how technology takes jobs and takes careers.
Yeah, and and like you said, the influence of social media, because there's a lot of things that you don't even know that are going on that are coming to light because of social media and somebody holding a camera phone, you know?
I finally got out of social media for a little bit. I've kind of done a little cleanse, and I haven't been on it in a couple months. It feels good, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not even hearing any of that stuff.
Exactly. You don't really even know what's going on.
Yeah,
like,
I'm just hanging out.
The bullshit
hanging out with my
matter.
kids.
And exactly, it's like the more, and I think back, like you said, it's the social media. Like 10 years ago, we didn't have a real race problem like that. You still have it in pockets of the country where like, people
but it wasn't like, talked about daily.
Yeah, it's not a daily thing on the news, and that goes back to social media. And it's like this stuff's probably only happening in small spurts in different places of the country, in the same places. Like in the same places. So it's not happening everywhere, but the fact that you can see it on social media kind of riles you up a little bit more.
There's a lot more videos of it.
Exactly, when even like. I'll say myself, being black, I've rarely even experienced any racism living here in California, you know, like, but yeah, maybe when I go back to Texas and like visit family or stuff, you see a little bit more things. Or when I was in New York, you know, somebody to give you a sly look or something. Yeah. But outside of that, I never really experienced racism, so it's not a big deal to me. Like, if you're racist, just stay away from me. I don't care.
Exactly. Don't bother me, I'm not going to bother you.
Yeah, so it's just, I think it all goes back to social media and how you let social media kind of play with your mind or affect the way you think, you know, because there's a lot on there that's not really true. People can doctor things up.
Yeah, and I was just hearing a news story in Facebook. Obviously, the point is to get you on there as long as possible. Want you to stay on there. And what they figured out is the way to keep you on there is put stuff to piss you off. So they put all the posts that are going to get you angry on there, and they make you want to pop
Facebook,
off.
I definitely deleted my Facebook.
Yeah,
Facebook's a little bit too much, and I'll say I'm down to Instagram and Snapchat.
What are your names on there? Your Instagram,
Instagram,
your Snapchat name.
See, I don't even know. I have to go look.
Oh man, that's good though. That means you're not even on that shit really.
Bag of Dirty on Instagram. Follow me if you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like Twitter, I use Twitter just because there's a lot of funny shit on Twitter. I love scrolling through Twitter.
I heard Twitter's pretty cool. I haven't been on there
Twitter.
yet.
Twitter, you kind of you don't see the same things you see on Facebook. It's like Twitter's all a game. It's all for fun, you know. It's all fun and games, memes and things like that. And that's really all that I keep it for is like the funny things, just a pastime, you know.
Yeah.
Snapchat I keep because now I use Snapchat as more of even like a phone number. Like someone I don't know, I won't necessarily give you my personal phone number. Yeah, what's your Snap? Give me your Snap, and that's how I communicate with a lot of people now.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so I don't use it as a social media device. It's more of a communication device for me.
Give out your number to everybody.
Yeah, you know, because
going back to living on the East Coast, what was the biggest difference? Obviously, like you said, like you could see like a little bit more old school look ways.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But besides that, like not
outside,
racism.
Yeah, outside of all of that, just me. It was the weather coming from Southern California.
Colder?
Oh hell yeah,
colder.
Hell yeah. Dude, how often do we see snow where we're at? You know, and I was in
0.
And it was snowing, blizzards, things like that. So it was like that was a fucking oh shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even own a snow coat. Like
I don't even have a jacket.
Yeah, like I put on 2 jackets and think, all right, I'm good. You know? So it's like that was the biggest shock for me is just weather, seeing snow, seeing rain, and there's a period called the gray period. They have it in Seattle too, where the sun doesn't even come out for 2 months.
And supposedly doesn't it make you more depressed?
Oh yeah.
It's just like
you're
sun.
You're looking out the window and you're just sad and you're just like, fuck, what am I sad about? Like I don't really know, but I'm down in the dumps.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Like weather wise, and then outside of that, kind of to me is the same.
Yeah. Did you make it to Times Square at all?
Oh yeah, down in New York, the city. I think I'll say if you're not from the city, it's definitely only a place to visit. Like I would never want to live there.
It's just way too hectic, huh?
Too hectic, too many people. Things are moving too fast. And coming from here, like we're in a retirement community, dude. Like things go real slow here. There's not a lot to do. Yeah, so just the fast pace was a difference to me. My first time in Times Square, actually, a lady burnt me with a cigarette walking by me.
Oh shit!
Like and didn't even turn around, didn't even notice.
She was just like fuck it,
just like smoking her cigarette, walking, and boom, like fucking ashed it on my arm. I'm like, ow. And I'm looking back at her like, what the fuck? And she's gone. Like earphones in, and she's on on the next move. You know.
I heard it's pretty obviously because there's so many people. It's pretty dirty over there.
Oh yeah, that too. It's disgusting. Really. Yeah. Like you go on the subway, you'll see a rat. It's not far-fetched to see a rat running around and trash on the floor, fucking hobos pissing and things like that, just because there is way too many people in a small space. And it's like everything's smaller. I think we're so spoiled here is like how big our homes are and like just
and what's crazy is we're in California still and we don't have that big of homes and that big of backyards.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, and exactly. Like you go somewhere in the middle of the country where you got acreages and things like that. It's like, and in New York, you're in this little box and 5 people are living in here. You know, and it's like
you got a room.
Yeah, and it's 3 people in one room, bunk beds, and like I'm talking adults. Like it's real a small space.
How far did you live away from the city?
I was about a 30-minute train ride.
Oh, that's not too bad at all.
Yeah, like,
well, I don't know if that was good or bad because that's pretty close.
That's super close, and it was cool to be where I was. I was in a perfect distance from the city where you can easily get back to the city, but you're far enough out of the city where it's not like New York. Like you're not in New York.
You're almost like suburbs, kind of.
Yeah, like so that wasn't bad at all. But yeah, I wasn't a fan. Like, definitely only to visit. You know,
I've kind of realized that I'm not really too much of a city guy.
Yeah,
like this is cool. The valley's cool, but I don't want to be in the valley. But this is about the size I'm cool with. Yeah,
like this is good for me. You know, I would even be cool with living somewhere fucking
Yucca, dude. I want to go to Yucca Valley, to be honest.
Dude, like the houses you can get in Yucca Valley, you can get a lot more for your money.
Yards are big. You can get like an acre or something. I've been looking, and there's houses. Because my price range maybe like $140,000 and less, and
that's where I'm looking to, and that like where you go back to like what we're trying to do. You know, I'm just trying to get my own things. You know, kind of get off my parents' back as far as like, and I'm not on their back, and not like I'm a burden to them. I'm actually helping them and helping myself at the same time. But it's starting to learn those things that you learn as an adult. How do you buy a house?
I wish we learned these things in high school, though, to be honest with you.
I'm reading books and things right now. We don't even know how to... I mean, you don't really have to do it as much anymore with technology, but, like, how to balance a checkbook.
Yeah.
We never learned that. How to spend your money. Like, they teach us how to be consumers, but not how to own a business or how to build a business and things like that. So I'm trying to learn things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now...
One thing that I learned the hard way was putting cars, like getting cars and financing them, dude. That's the only thing that's fucking me with getting a house right now. Trying to get that first time buyer program. My credit's high, but it's that I already have.
They seen the way you've used your credit in the past, and that'll scare a lender a little bit.
Well, not even that. Just seeing that I already have payments, so I'm already paying 2 cars on my credit. So it's like, how is he going to pay a house payment?
Yeah, now your available money.
Exactly.
Yeah. And again, I go, like I say, I'm reading book, like, and that's where just going back to building your knowledge in different aspects. Like, I'm reading books on personal finance and investing. And, like, the things that are going to grow me, like, and grow myself or my family, you know?
It's going to work for you and stuff.
Exactly, and that's a big thing. And it's like, you go back to, your car's, like, I was lucky enough to be smart enough to get the car that I got and keep it and pay it off, you know, and get it off.
Exactly. I wish I did that.
And at the same time, like with credit cards and things like that, like at a young age, you think, oh yeah, this is free money. Like, yeah, I'll pay it back later, but it's not always that simple. And then sometimes it gets a little hard.
Luckily, that was one thing I was smart about. I knew credit cards are not free money.
No,
you're getting fucked, bro.
Exactly. But not everybody knows that. And it's like if you don't come from a financially, I guess the word literate household.
That's a good way
to say. Those lessons aren't as much there. Like, I see my parents use credit cards just like cash sometimes, you know, and you have to learn even lessons from people who do the wrong things. You know?
Vicariously through them.
Yeah, so I'm just like learning. It always goes back to the knowledge you have, you know.
It's weird how much I want to learn now that I'm not in school. Like, I'd rather learn now because I feel like I'm learning about things I'm interested in and things that might actually help me and build me as a person.
And that's what I wish they did more in school is like giving kids the knowledge that they're actually going to use. And I know all that stuff's important to keep you well-rounded, but I don't need to know the Pythagorean theorem to get a job.
I was all the way in like, dude, every equation was taking 30 minutes, bro. Like,
exactly. And it's like,
what am I doing this for?
How about you teach me about stocks? How about you teach me about how the money market works and different versions of like accounts and the difference between a checking account and a savings account, and an IRA or a retirement fund.
I was just talking about an IRA in my last podcast and with my father-in-law actually, and he was saying an IRA you can actually write that off in your taxes.
Yeah, that's a tax write-off.
Yeah, you owe money or whatever, and
yeah, and it's like we there's things we don't know, and like the loopholes for taxes, and like how if you buy a house and you sell it, you have 45 days to buy another house, and all that money's tax free, and like tax deferment and like small things like that is like we don't learn, and we have to kind of go find that information on your own.
They want you to like have that money in something. They don't want you to just get all that cash and hold on to it.
Because then you're gonna get raked in taxes like terribly. But if you spend it the right way and you know the loopholes, it's not hard to like know at all. Yeah, it's not hard to make money and get to a high stance in, I guess, in society, I think.
Have you done any investments yet?
So I started off I've always been like, I'm always about the money, like at the end of the day. So I was like playing around with stocks and things when I was like 18.
Really?
Yeah. So just even on like the little apps on your phone, like
TD Ameritrade. Did you ever fuck with cryptocurrency at all?
No, I never got into cryptocurrency. I really wish I would have, because look how it blew up. Yeah. But I never got into it just because like I feel like you have to understand something before you can invest in it.
I understand.
You know?
Yeah,
like,
I'm with that.
You have to fully understand it. I didn't understand. I still don't terribly understand cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and how that works.
So you're my bad. Sorry, I kind of went off the cryptocurrency.
No,
but yeah, back to TD Ameritrade. So what'd you do from there?
Oh, but just playing with money, like buying stocks and kind of watching different stocks. And I started kind of young with that, and now I'm starting to I took a step back because I lost all my money. And for a 19-year-old kid, $1,000 is a lot of money. You know? I lost all of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So pretty quick. So now I'm trying to and I go back to understanding it and investing before you.
That's what I'm doing
make
now.
Your money. So
I'm learning.
I'm reading books about real estate investing and stocks and bonds, and going back to money market accounts and IRAs and 401ks and all that stuff. So the more you learn about it, the easier it is to use it and use it to your advantage. You know. So yeah, I'm trying to learn about those things now.
I'm in the middle. I had I think it was Onyx or something like that, Therapeutics or something. I just sold it today. I bought it maybe a couple of days ago. I have a buddy that's like really into stocks, and he told me it's gonna pop in a couple of days. It'll pop like 10-15%. It did. I made like $20. I put like, I don't know, like maybe like $60-$70, made 20, and
but think about that. Think about if that $60-$70 was $60,000 or $70,000. Exactly. Now look how much money you've made. You know, in one transaction. Your money, like you said.
Well, let's say $60,000. You make 10%. That's $6,000. $6,000 right off
what?
Dude.
Off what? You didn't do any work for it.
Nothing.
Besides having the knowledge and knowing how to spend that money.
I'm hoping I'm gonna get him on a podcast. I work with him actually, but he's trying to get up on Robinhood. I think your account has to be 25,000 or more to do day trading, to be like a day trader. And he's trying to get to there, and if you like you said, if you make 10% on 60,000 or fucking 10% on 6,000, that's $600, dude. That's more than I make a day in work.
That's in your pocket, and that's for
making a week.
30 minutes work.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
that, or maybe an hour or two of research,
paying attention a little bit. Yeah.
So it's just learning, and again, goes back to school. Like they don't teach you these things in school, you know. So you have to kind of go out of your way. To learn these things.
They want you to work your 30+ years, get your retirement, and kind of like...
Yeah, and that's kind of the way of the world. Now that technology's changing especially, that's not really the way of the world anymore.
No.
Like, people are getting rich off doing dumb shit on social media.
I know.
Like, there's many ways to make money, you know? So
do it on your own.
Yeah. So...
That's another, back to the point of investing. That's why I want to get a house or some land or something. I need to get, because
that's where it starts. That's a tax write-off.
Exactly.
You know, and that's where it starts. And I think the earlier you start, the better you off in the long term. Because time gives you knowledge too. You know, lessons over time. So yeah, that's where I'm at too. Like I bought my grandmother's house not that long ago, actually, like 2 weeks ago. So,
really?
Yeah, so that's at least my first big investment at least. So
dude.
Hopefully things
That's a big deal.
Yeah, hopefully things go the right way with that. And, you know.
Are you planning on moving in there? Or are you
no, she's going to stay in the house for now, because it was more of more or less an investment and rather kind of saving her because she was about to lose the house. It was up on the market. So I just kind of...
You bought it, she still lives there.
Yeah, so basically I have a tenant. Yeah. So I'm helping her a little bit with the rent. And, you know, I'm starting to see now it might not have been the best decision, but it's a learning curve, you know. And the more I learn, the better decisions I'm going to make. But it's a start.
How long did she have the house before you...
30 years. So it's like, I wouldn't want her to lose her house now, you know, 30 years. Where are you gonna go at this point? You know, so and she's put in so much work to raise other people and like giving her time to other people. She's a nurse, like she raised multiple kids that weren't her own, you know, and it's like she's put in so much. It's kind of like giving my chance to give back and also help myself.
That's why I wanted to put you on the podcast, bro. You're a stand-up guy. Yeah, that's like one of the big deals I wanted, because you've always been so, just you know, about everybody. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Sometimes it fucks me over, but you know, you kind of karma comes around. You know, so many good things have happened to me, and like I'm getting emotional just talking about that shit. You're a good guy, bro. But yeah. And good things come to people who do good things. Yeah. So. And if you view the world positively, it'll come around. Yeah, it'll come around. Like, so you can't focus on the negative. Fuck, I don't know why. Yeah. It's just you. I don't know. You've had a journey, bro. Yeah. You've done that. Even like football. Like football, you were there, and it was a hip, and then a hip again, and then now you're still trying to figure it out. Yeah, it's like bad breaks, man, and like. Fuck, when you put all your stuff into one thing and like it doesn't work out, it's like shit. Like, that's how I've been there, bro. I've cried a few times. And sometimes I feel like good tears though. Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. It gets it out. It makes you feel a little more relieved, man. I've done that with my boys and shit, dude. I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm doing my podcast in my parents' garage, bro. But so like. Fucking, where did Apple start? Yeah, Microsoft started. Garage, bro. Things start in the garage. Shit. Like I said, who knows where you'll be in 5-6 years with this shit, as long as you stick to it. What do you want to be in 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, bro? I say 10 years from now, I want to obviously own at least 2 or 3 properties. That's in my head. I want to have a couple properties. And I want to be a business owner. Of what sort? I don't know. I want to own my own business. I want to make my own money, dude. And I want to be really at the end of the day just financially stable. Like that's like the only thing I can say I see myself like as having or doing. You know, just and even if it's not in the biggest way of like being rich, I'm not necessarily talking about being rich, but being able, if someone needs my help, like. I can easily help you with no problem. I don't know. My one piece of advice to you is like do something that your heart's into, bro. Yeah, because that's how you are, dude. You're into stuff, dude. And like you have to. You have to be. You have to be into it to. I'll say even stay like dedicated to it. Yeah, you know? Exactly. And that goes back to football. It's like there's never been anything in my life like that I've had that drive for or that commitment to, and I'm as an adult trying to find it now and figure it out. And that's what, just keep trying. That's what I'm. Shit. Dude, hey, this is good. This is my best podcast so far. This is the realest one, bro. And this is what this was about. 100 podcasts, bro. It's about being 100. You're being 100, and it's good to talk like this because it's rare that you really sit down and. Dude, like as much as you think about these things, it's rare that you sit down and you talk about it because you don't really know your thoughts until they come out. You start talking, and I kind of realized that as I've gotten to this, like this is the 5th episode now, and I've realized I'm on my phone and shit, and I'm not like I don't even talk to people. I don't even sit down and talk to people. And this like, is different. How often at our age now, like, cause we're out of school, so you don't fucking kick it with your friends every day. Like you don't sit like we used to. Like we would come over to your house and like kick it before a football. Exactly. Like put on the Wii and shit. Yeah, you don't do stuff like that anymore. So like to really sit down and have a genuine conversation with somebody, even if it takes doing a podcast to do that. Like, it's rare, and you provoke or invoke. Sorry, wrong word. You invoke a lot of thought and a lot of emotion that you probably would have never even came across because without like that physical conversation, 100% focus on the conversation, and that's where like even though our conversation is fucking taking turns left and right on different subjects, but we're really talking, you know, and we're building something. Yeah, and we don't get that anymore with our generation, like. With social media and the cell phones being so prevalent, we don't have these chances to really conversate and talk to each other. It's a big fear of mine. I'm nervous on where we're gonna be at in like 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, dude.
Bro.
Like with the kids, like I work in a restaurant. I'm a bartender, dude, and I watch kids and I watch people put the iPad in front of their kid and just shut them up. And it's like it completely stops them. And it's like I remember sitting at a table and it's like if you get out of hand, like I'm gonna get pinched or like you have that. You have to be a good kid. Like now they don't even have to give them that discipline anymore. It's like slap the headphones on and fucking put the iPad down and you're good to go. And it's like you said, it's like where is that going? It's like the kids are so enticed by the...
Yeah, I did that a few times. We were starting to get that way and we finally we decided, me and my wife, we decided we weren't going to do that. We stopped bringing the tablet with us on trips and stuff because there's no point in that. You're just...
Yeah, it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like, it's not a bad thing. And they have their purpose, but like, I think too much of anything
just like TV,
is negative. Yeah, too much of anything is negative, whether it's a positive or not.
Yeah.
So I can see us like as a society as a whole, like that being fucking huge and like people being like that movie Idiocracy. Remember?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen that movie
It used to come on Comedy Central all the time, but it was like, dude, like the world is dumb. Like the world is like literally dumb.
The whole yeah. And I don't know. That's why I'm happy I'm doing this, man.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you hit me up to even talk about this. Like, cause
it just goes back to our last talk.
Yeah.
Our last talk, bro. I vented to you. And you honestly, it was a tough time for me, and I was having a rough time, dude. And you like cleared my head. You like told me just kind of like chill out and like let it happen. Whatever happens, and
you gotta let it go. You gotta ride the wave at the end of the day.
Yeah, and how serious is something? You know, how big of a deal is it? Honestly, and
yeah, because dude, like even down to, and that's what I have to keep telling myself. It's like life's gonna go on, man. Like not having a job or not being able to do this and that, it's not gonna kill you. You still gotta wake up and continue the day. You
exactly.
know?
Yeah.
So it's like it's just kind of seeing the big picture and also focusing on today. Like you gotta whatever you can do today is gonna help you for tomorrow. Like,
it's easy to not care, bro. It's easy to not give a shit. It's easy to not try. It's easy to be like, you know what? I was dealt these cards and
just give up.
Life was hard and I couldn't do it, you know? And like you said, what was it, your uncle or whoever?
Yeah, my nephew, and that's what he's dealing with right now. He's kind of giving up, dude, and it's like it's becoming like it's affecting his health, his mental health. Like he's 25 years old. He had 2 strokes and a heart attack. You know?
Really?
Yeah. So it's like it's really deep how much your mind is important
life and death,
to it. Yeah.
Honestly, like
now it's become that. But before it was such a small situation. Now it's become a life and death situation because he's neglected it for so long. But if you let these small then that's what happens. If you let these small problems fester and fester and fester, then it does become a big problem or like a life and death situation. But in the beginning, it was something so simple to fix. Like, hey, drop it. Like, yeah, you can't play sports anymore. But what can you do? You can do something different, you know? And it's like, if he could simply had that mindset or somebody had given him...
Maybe give him a different perspective. Hey, you got shot, bro. You survived. You got another... Let's do something about it.
So, like, you got to see the light in everything, I think. You know, see the brightness. Or there's always a silver lining or something positive out of every situation. Like, I broke my hip twice, stopped playing football, but... Look at my mind now. I have such a good mindset on all this shit that I'm kind of glad it happened, you know, a weird fucking way.
Yeah, because you almost, if everything would have worked out perfectly, bro, you almost
like, who would I be
weak,
now?
Bro,
Like, what kind of, I always think to the type of person I would be, like, now, because I was like really dedicated to football, but I was a fucking asshole, a dickhead in every other aspect of life.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. You're not bringing me anything, so fuck you. Like,
exactly.
And I think that kind of...
You have that superstar mentality or like view on things.
What are you giving me? Like, that's what it was first, and now I don't necessarily look for that in other people. It's like, what can I give you, or how can we help each other type deal.
Exactly. You know? You're not looking for the present or the giveaway.
It's like how can we help each other? You know. So I think that was a huge help for me right there. And I keep thinking about that shit. And it's like making me emotional, but
I don't know, bro, but you're a strong guy. I can tell just by you letting it out, bro. Yeah. Like most people won't let it out.
Oh yeah, I'm not afraid to show emotion.
You're fucking, I've seen it from you before, bro. You're real. You're fucking.
Yeah. It's the 100 podcast, man.
Yeah, real. I think this was the most 100 we've been so far. This is I don't know. I don't know, bro. So, like you said, just keep going, keep it positive. I guess that was kind of the whole point of this one. Keep a positive mindset on everything, bro. Like, keep doing everything the right way, and have your morals.
Yeah, and if you stick to what you believe in, man, I think some way somehow it might not be in your timing, but it'll work out.
Yeah.
You know, things will always work out, and that's like if anybody gets anything from this, that's what I want somebody to take out of this. Don't give up. Keep doing what you got to do. Stay strong.
Oh yeah. All right, let's wrap this shit up, dude. Let me see. What size are you, bro? On shirt.
Probably like a medium. If you got a medium or a large.
Do you have any shirts yet from any yet?
I have the one with the flag on the back. Remember we took pictures of?
Cool. I'll give you this one.
Yeah.
This is this is we're weed friendly here. You know, this is California, bro. Yeah, we got a couple stickers from my buddies at Flat Black. Rolling tray made by Cheeky's Crafty Creations.
Oh, dope.
Some stickers and shit, bro. Hook you up with an Annie Up shirt.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, bro.
She's making rolling trays. Okay.
Yeah.
Heartbeat.
That's a cool little.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have them when you come through.
5th episode, 100 podcast again, available on all streaming platforms, dude. It's my homie Kenyon. It was the realest one, dude.
Oh, yeah,
you're the man, bro.
Thank you for having me.